Ooh, a new Axo video.
But in my inventory, I have an extra 2 Kirby's.
Ooh, Kirby.
I have 2 more. And the second one we're going to drop for Zordo's base.
Ooh.
Is also
Come into my place.
How do I actually get into Zordo's base? It's like his bedroom's upstairs, I'm guessing? This is like the back rooms. Wow, okay.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get...
There, I'd like to see you call that the back rooms, huh? I'm just kidding, by the way, in case someone didn't catch on. There is no animosity at all. Actually, it's really cool seeing your stuff in someone else's videos, though this did give me a little bit of a kick in the derriere to get it done. I realized I was being a little bit lazy when I finished this last episode. So if you are watching this, thank you for the Kirby head. It's going to stay there for a while. I might redo this. Like, this was just to get an idea. I don't hate it. We'll see. I might redo the entrance. I like this here though, so that's going to stay. So yeah, we actually redid the attic and it is a pretty big upgrade. I'm happy that I did it. I think I just need to take a break last time. That's all. And I think that's what our episode this time is going to be about, is finishing up the interior of the base, or the house, whatever. Maybe some other shenanigans as well, but I'd like to get my home actually to be live-inable. So here is the upstairs, here's the attic. I added an aquarium. Doesn't make much sense to have it here, but that just, it's fun. And I learned that sea pickles make air, so that was not supposed to be dead coral, but it is, and I'm not going to replace it. I have a little wine area, nothing I've done before. This is obviously not a new design, but I think it worked nicely, especially with the mini blocks that we have available on the server. Little towel here, so we have, it's past your bedtime wine. I could probably use this in real life. And Granny's secret recipe. Let me know what you think that is in the comments. Alright, and over here, this is a bit simpler in design, but it is like mass storage. And I think it is cute. I was going to implement a copper golem in here, but I'm not sure what to put his chest, and honestly, I think I will just manage it myself for now. I do like the movement, but I anticipate him like going downstairs and just like placing stuff where it doesn't belong. So yeah, I think we'll not do that. Added some variation texture with the barrels here at the bottom of the pillars, the composters here. Like a bit of texturing here just to change it a little bit. I think the wall of barrels actually kind of looks cool, and I had this idea of adding like a half wall, I guess, to just kind of separate the room, even though it is like open. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. But that about does it for up here. And honestly, like interiors are really fun. Oop, that's my back. Interiors are really fun, but like this took 2 hours to build. But it's a fun 2 hours. That was, I'm not complaining, it's just a remark. So now, I think we could start thinking about the first floor where we're actually going to live. I thought that this was going to be my main storage room. It might still be, but at the same time, we do have a lot of storage that we've just added upstairs, so that might not be necessary. Perhaps what we could do is have this be more of a kitchen area. So like, let's say kitchen slash smelting area, right? That would make sense. By the way, as I was walking around here, I did happen to notice, if you go around back, just over here, I did notice a bright spot on the side of my house. She done it again. That's twice. I haven't even took down the other one. I think it's probably high time we get her back, but of course, I ain't gonna show you on camera because you know, that's just how it is. You'll have to tune into her video to see if she catches it. Alright, now with that done, I have gone ahead and started to like put some stuff away, and this is kind of the way I think I'm gonna go with it. So like, for example, we have stone and mineral here, so we have like the chest of stone and mineral stuff, and inside of shulkers of all the individual blocks, which I think is not too bad. Earth, for example, is like dirt, grass, the terracottas, gravel. Nether is, I guess, netherrack, and obsidian. Nature is all the nature stuff. Alright, so I think this little room here is going to be our bedroom. And then we're going to have the living room kind of be here. No real purpose other than looking nice and cozy. And I don't know how I'm going to integrate it exactly. But I do know that I want to integrate some frog lights that I bought last episode from the shopping district. Reason A, because I never used them. And reason B is because I just think that they make the perfect, like, lampshade texture. Like that side specifically. I wonder if that is always facing that way? No, okay, it's directional. So we can probably manipulate that to get this texture. I think that looks kind of like a nice little lampshade. Now, do we prefer the purple or the yellow? I feel like the yellow one made more sense color palette wise, but I think I prefer the purple one. So, yeah, I really do. Maybe we'll use this one somewhere else. And here's our room all done up. I can finally sleep at home. Now, ignore the mess in the living room here. We'll do this later or some other time. But here's the little room slash office, and I really like it. It's quite cozy. Nothing in the book, but oh well. We have our little bed tucked in here. Usually I like to make more of a bed frame and stuff, but honestly, I just think this tucked away fits the vibe. It'll like... This is really a little nook, right? And I feel like the arch kind of gives us like a little frame to reveal everything with. I just like it a lot. We have some greenery with some pots. I should get the sherds and stuff. I've never experimented with sherds, but I know they look nice. I just haven't done it myself. This, can you tell what this is? Like, this might be a hear me out kind of thing, but imagine this is a lampshade and there's a light in here. This is like a lamp. So we have the base of the lamp. I couldn't find anything that fit the way I wanted to. Fences always stuck to the walls, even if I pistoned them into place. So, oop, it's raining outside. So I feel like this connects it just enough and it's not too intrusive, and you can kind of imagine it being some kind of artsy-fartsy kind of lamp. I quite enjoy it. And it lights everything up just enough without being too bright. We have some plants here, a little amethyst for some decorations. We have a jukebox, no discs yet, so that is what that is for. And we have our little desk, which soon with the cushions are going to be, well, it's going to be a real desk. We'll be able to actually use it properly, and I can't wait for that. I have to find some use for this book, maybe for comments, who knows. And the last thing I did was this carpet here, just to like give a focal point for the room, or for something for everything to kind of work around, if you will. I think the more muted light gray and gray kind of balances everything out very, very nicely. I like it a lot. It's very, very cozy. And now we're going to take a break from actually building the interior because I have another project that I want to get done ASAP. Not just because it's like exciting and fun. Also, I think it's going to be very, very useful for the server and for my bottom line. So you've read the title, so I assume you know a bit of what we're going to do. But let me elaborate on that a little bit. If we head over to... I believe that's it right there. Yep, this here is the Guardian Farm, which has been being used, as you can see. And the Guardian Farm is also like the server's source of XP. But the thing is, we take hits while getting the XP. I've designed an XP farm that I can turn to a shop that I want to do in the shopping district. I'm really excited because I've never actually had a shopping district, so I've never had a shop. So I really want to get it done. Also, I kind of want to get done before someone beats me to it, though at this point in the server's lifespan, I think if someone was going to do it, it would have been done already. So I think I'm going to do a great service to the server by getting this in place. So back here at spawn, behind the monument, the monolith, I do have some armadillos, my poor innocent armadillos. I think there's about 20 in here. I will take advantage of the fact that no one else is on the server right now and try to get some more spider eyes to get some more, because really the more I can get, the better it is. Because yes, we're going to make an armadillo XP farm, but with a caveat, which is why the design is as big as it is and took as long for me to make. I'm not a redstoner, but I'm pretty proud of what I got done. Problem with Alley or Olay XP farms and Armadillo XP farms is that it is contingent on them taking damage. And the issue with that is that if they are taking damage, whilst the chunks are unloading dynamically, sometimes that can cause them to despawn, which is a pain to deal with. So usually, let's say in my forever world, what I do at my LA farm is when I leave, you like just turn off or you extinguish the fireplaces with a shovel. But I'm going to be charging people. I don't want to charge people and have them have to actually work at the farm. So I got this whole redstone setup where you pay, the farm starts up, it lights up the campfires, the armadillos take their damage, but they'll be scared by zombies, so they're like all cocooned up and don't actually take damage, they just get hit. And then you get your XP. Once the time is up, the farm automatically extinguishes everything so that the armadillos are preserved and the player can leave the area without having to do any extra work. Now, this is easier said than done, and I'm going to need quite a bit of materials to actually get going with this project. Alright, so we're just in here making some potions. I already got a shulker full, and this one's about halfway, and we've been had again. Jeez, she's sneaky, man. And we're just about ready to actually get the farm up and running. I do need to get some flint and steel so we can have it running like for at least a little while before restocking. And I haven't actually designed like the exterior of the farm. Like I just have the farm, the shop itself. Don't know what it's gonna look like. And I was going to like design all that first just so like everything is cohesive and coherent, but I really have no clue what to build for the outside. And I don't want to just like get in a rut, so we're gonna get the actual farm up and running. Maybe even have it up for business, open for business. And then once it's actually there, it's going to be so ugly and ruin the look of this shopping district so much that I have no choice but to build something. So you see how it works? That's what we're going to be doing. Also, yeah, the potion room, we are going to have it here like planned, but this is not the final version. I am enjoying like decorating parts of our house and then doing something else and then coming back and decorating another room. So yeah, I do enjoy the pacing rather than having to say, let's get everything for the interior done in one episode. Alright, so I think the farm slash shop is gonna go right here. It's like one of the first things you'll see. Well, it's like the thing you'll see coming out of here. So like I have to make it good, but I also benefit from Axel's beautiful tree here. Now, I do have a timer that goes off every 5 minutes as we're going to be building this because I do have the spider eggs. So I've stopped counting, but I figure the more armadillos I can get, the better. So I'll be breeding these guys as much as possible. So yeah, let's get to building. So right around the time that I started building, we actually had some visit from Thera, who I think might have been procrastinating something. But she ended up helping us actually build the whole farm, so it was a lot smoother than I expected. And not just building it, but also like putting the armadillos in place and counting them and whatnot. So thank you, Thera. And before I get to optimizing it, why don't I show y'all how this thing works? Okay, so what we're gonna do is here we're gonna fix this up later, by the way. Like I said, the top is unfortunate. I'm gonna just give you a little teaser. You can imagine what that might look like. So here's the entrance. For now, we have pay in the dropper below, which is right here. It's 1 diamond per pop, which I think is a good price. Now, this is the way this works. I do need people to not necessarily finish off the silverfish, but my reasoning is that by the time they do finish off the silverfish, the timers will have reset and everything's going to be fine. So yeah, let's just give it a go. I'm going to collect some XP and hand this off to LegendaryZordo to explain how the machine works. Okay, so this is a bit of a fun use of flashback, but I think it'll be easier for everyone to understand this way. So we have this here. This is a dispenser. Observer. So basically what happens is we have the observer here that observes the button press. Once that happens, that button press is observed all through this line of observers here that we see. That makes it so the signal makes its way all the way to here, whereupon this sticky piston gets triggered. Here we go. That's it triggering. Now, to make sure that the farm doesn't run forever and that it shuts off correctly, we have this extra looping line of observers here. So basically when this gets pushed down, there is a delayed signal that goes through here and loops back to pick up the redstone block. If it's too fast, the farm doesn't start. So this delay just gives the redstone block enough time to be there, I guess, so that the signal works. I'm not quite sure why. Now, once this is powered, it gets caught by this comparator here, which this is 4 slices of essentially the same farm. So once this is powered, the comparator powers this, which shuts off this torch periodically, which is locking the etho hopper clock that we see here. So once this starts, the redstone block that was here moves to over here. When that happens, it powers this comparator, which powers a repeater, which gets observed, triggers this dispenser here, which this has a bucket in it. So the bucket will go ahead and remove the water that is in the column. As that's happening, this gets powered, which is observed by this observer, which is observed by this observer, which powers a dispenser hidden here that throws a splash bottle of infestation onto the armadillos. Pretty much at the same time, once this is triggered to remove the water, it sends a signal through here, which has the flint and steel, so that lights everything on fire. Whereupon we have our armadillos all balled up because they're scared because of these zombies here, making kits and spawning the silverfish. The silverfish fall down these columns here and then flow to the middle where they get redirected to the player. That looks like kind of scary. So once all the items from here are flowed into here, our time is up. All right, so now see, once the time is up, this moves back here. The items will start flowing back into here. So we do have a cooldown. And what happens at that time, this is no longer powered, so that is reobserved here. So this dispenser triggers, putting the water back to protect our armadillos, and this happens for all 4 slices, which I'm trying not to show too much because the shape is unfortunate. Alright, so the machine is off. We gotta go check and see, now that I just finished off the stragglers, where are my clocks? Are they already... Yeah, see, so I'm gonna have to set up something to indicate that there is like a cooldown. Just have like this to go through, which I think is about 1.5 minutes before we can use the machine again. Otherwise, it won't work. We'll have to figure that out. I don't think anyone's gonna spam it. In that time, it fixed up my pickaxe, my elytra, and brought me from level 1636, which for 1 diamond I think is really not that bad. And with more armadillos, it should be even more efficient. I don't think we have anything stuck in here. There are, unfortunately, a few stragglers in the machine. So yeah, we'll be reading them up, filling up the columns with some more armadillos, but we can't leave this like it is. Which means that we're also due for another material gathering montage. So we, well, maybe not montage, just a material gathering session. So we can actually get a nice build to fit in with the shopping district. And I think what I have in mind is pretty sweet. Here it is. Not too shabby, right? I do think it fits really well within the frame of, well, this doorway and the tree and even like the lamps and the map thing over there. As you're walking out, it's like the first thing you see, and obviously, what the heck? Obviously not in the same style as Axo's build. I feel like if I were to have a build style, this feels like it. It feels like it almost belongs to the same architecture as the house that we made. I'm gonna take care of these guys and we'll go see some details. Alright, now that they're gone. If we walk up closer here, I did go with a like kind of ruined keep kind of thing. And what I did is once I found like the inspiration I wanted and the shape I wanted, I built it up clean and then took away chunks of it. So we got like these cool swoops here that are like ruined portions of the tower. And like here we have a missing chunk here at the stairs. Here we have it with walls and some iron bars. I guess kind of like to hint at something that would hold up the structural integrity of the place. Got some there too. Not too heavy on it. I wanted it to be nice. I wanted it to not detract from the beauty going on here. But I also didn't want to spend 3 weeks designing it. So this is what we have. And I did have to work with the fact that the farm is already inside and I have to cover it up. But I also didn't want to make something that was super huge. I feel like it's fun having things in scale. Now this is immense. It being right next to Axel's build here, which is really big, and the trees, I wanted to keep it in scale with that. So I think this fits the bill pretty nicely. Of course, I've been doing a lot of this again. You know, that's just what I've been doing lately. Bamboo as well. I think it looks good, and it looks good from Axel's build here, the bookshop. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, we do not have a roof on it yet. So there is going to be a little bit of like brown here that we're not seeing right now. Because lovely Ken that came over before and he freaking broke the farm. No, I'm just kidding. He did not break the farm. I had him over mostly as an excuse to say hi, right? And we had him playtest the farm. And for a single usage, it worked really well. And I had just restocked it. The problem is, with what we've done to make it easier to restock the potions, it's killed a lot of the armadillos. Like in here, there seem to be 4 left. There were more than that. This one has 2. There were at least 8 or 10. I think this one, yeah, this one's completely empty. And this one has just 1. But I think I know what the problem is. I went tested out in creative, and I think what's happening is for our system here, when we have the silverfish spawning, even though this occupies the block, they get stuck in the crack here. So not only are we like losing some for the actual farm, whoops, below, I think it's making the armadillos get entity crammed, and that's what's killing them off. Which means that we're going to have to fix it, and fixing it is going to release the armadillos that are there currently, and we're going to have to restock it again. But I think I've come up with a solution. Like, it's mostly to do with the redstone here. We don't have to change too much. I'll have to go check. I fixed it last night before going to bed because it was bugging me. But essentially, this is still being read compared to here. We're just going to bring a line of observers down in the U shape to re-trigger the dispenser here and have the hopper and barrel be here, so that way this can be full blocks. And with that, it didn't seem to entity cram the armadillos that were in my test. Alright, I think I got all fixed up. I fixed the first one up and then tested it, and it was good. There were no losses. So I think we're safe. And I haven't tested the other 3, but the design principle is the same. So reminder, if we go into the actual module, we have our armadillos. Now the sign is stopping them. There are no other cracks that the silverfish can cut up on, so they either fall, and if they don't fall and they do get stuck here, they die because of the fire. So we should be good. I know they do get scared because even though they don't have a line of sight, I think they can sense the presence for some reason, so that's fine. Yeah, this one is a bit different, I think. Where is it? Yeah, this one's a bit different because underneath here we have the line of observers that triggers the whole system, so that same line also triggers the dispenser here. So we're gonna do a final test anyways before putting the roof on this bad boy, but I'm pretty confident. However, I've discovered a new problem that is a future me problem. It's a problem for me, but not for my clients, so I don't feel bad about not fixing it right now. It's just maybe a bit wasteful on my end, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just look at this. So reminder, this dispenses the splash potions. Something here is inefficient, and if you can find out what that is and tell me what it is in the comments, I'll give you a virtual high five. I know what it is, I just not sure how to fix it, and yeah. Now unfortunately at the moment, ooh, let's liberate this poor guy. At the moment, no one is online, so we don't have any playtesters. I'll test it myself. So let's see how much we get. I'm anticipating quite a bit. And then we'll go check up on our actual farm upstairs and see if everything's good. So, here goes nothing. We zoom out real quick. Yep, pretty sure I restocked everything. Yep. If we do look at it real quick, you can see this is what it looks like when it's running. So you see, like, they're all just falling. They're all falling. I don't think anything's cramming. If there are some here, they're gonna burn to death. Cool, so I'm gonna start getting rid of these guys before the server... Yeah, my sounds aren't even playing. And my hostile mob sounds are on. Look at that freaking XP. Oh, there is one armadillo that has fallen through. Alright, the farm seems about done. We have some XP. I'll get the lagging XP after. I'm gonna just test in case someone were to decide to leave and not get all their XP. I'm just curious to see, because there is a cooldown on this that needs to be respected. Alright, so we're gonna have to think... have some kind of indication to have people not spam it, or if two people want to use it back to back, there may be a slight issue. I'm gonna click this XP and then we'll see if we lost any armadillos, except for, I guess, this guy here. Oh dang, I didn't notice all this globule. It's still going. Dang, at this rate, the time that it takes to collect the XP might actually cover the cooldown. It's still going. I actually just realized I think we can actually leave and it still stays like that, so we probably don't have to actually... We're probably gonna have to take into account the cooldown, is what I'm trying to say. So I suppose while we're still collecting all this XP... Wow! Should I raise the prices? I mean, honestly, that seems like way better than before. We have a single straggler. That might be where our armadillo got pushed away, which honestly is not too bad. I can just get an extra one in there. Everything else seems to still be full. Ah, finally, I can open this place up for business. Alright, so just before we actually get on to doing the roof, I've added a little something here to take care of our cooldown problem. We have a light at the back right there. And what happens is when we pay and then the signal gets sent up to the machine, we also have really the same kind of idea here going on, but just horizontally. So as the signal goes up here, this sends a signal this way. And what happens is we have this little system here that sends the redstone block here, and this unlocks the hopper clock. And also, since we're using a button, it sends a second pulse, which will come and bring the block back. And this hopper clock has the same amount of items as the one upstairs, so the timing is the same. So what happens is, as soon as this is not completely full, like we can have everything except for one item in here, the signal strength drops to below 15, so this turns off the light. This clock goes off pretty much as the one up top goes off, and actually what we're going to do is delay the repeater. So this should be just enough to make them pretty much identical. They're not... I think this one's going to trigger like maybe a half sec before the one upstairs, but honestly that really should be fine. So anyways, once this triggers, the redstone block is going to go here. This is going to start flowing into here. So as soon as we lose the one, yes, you can see the light goes off. And then once this is full, the block will be sent back here. And then only once all this is empty and we have our final item back in here, is the light going to come back on. So I just have to add a sign or something to tell our fellow server mates that when the light is on, it's okay to go. If the light's off, you gotta wait a bit. Ain't that cool? Alright, well, I'd say that is a good day's work. We have our roof, we have an interior now, everything's working for the most part. It's a bit wonky. You know, I'll probably come back in between episodes in the following weeks to do some tweakage for the redstone and for the roof and everything. But I think for today, we've done pretty well. I know I said earlier that we don't want to like get lazy and stuff, but I also said that we don't want to force ourselves to finish everything in one episode. So it's okay to do stuff now and like polish it throughout time. At least that's my excuse. Now for the interior, we have something. It's quite snug, but it's usable. I didn't put too much time in here because mainly people are just going to beeline it here, use it, and then leave. But as you can see here, we have just 2 diamonds per pop. Pay in the dropper below, which is right here. I assume everyone's going to understand that you have to press the button. Got some decorations here. We have a silverfish head and armadillo scute disposal unit. If anyone wants to keep them for some reason, I mean, feel free, but I'm assuming you don't want to. So if you want to get rid of them, just like... And on the other side, we have the ender chest, courtesy of Kenma. Kenma, if you want this back, just take it and I'll put another one. But you left it here, so here it is. And my little issue with the armadillos falling down, it's all part of the lore. Sometimes armadillos fall in the stream, the maintenance guy takes care of it. So just like, maybe let them roam free, and then the maintenance guy will come take care of it. Also, this painting doesn't very well fit, but my wife loves it, and I do too, so it's staying. And with that, I think the XP problem, which wasn't actually a problem, but the XP problem for the server is pretty much solved. I think I like to think that I've contributed something pretty cool. So I think this is where we're going to call it for today's episode. Thank you all for watching, and if you made it here, maybe consider hitting that like button, maybe subscribing. YouTube likes that, and I like it too. So with that being said, thank you all again, and I'll see you next time. See ya!